Hey friends, it's me, your girl, Kristen Denise, also known as KD, and I'm coming to you now with a Today in Black History. As I stated during Black History Month, that I was going to keep the party going. I was going to extend beyond Black History Month because I'm a Black History 365 kind of girl. And so I wanted to continue to share my love for Black history and the things that I am learning and discovering with you all, because we all should know more about the history of Black people, Black Americans in particular, our institutions, the culture we create, and the impact that it has had on us as Black people, but on society as a whole. Because, baby, we have impact, okay? Okay. So, I did a post last week towards the end of Black History Month about HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, and my overall love for HBCUs in general. One in particular, go Rattlers, strike, and strike again. FAMU all day long, okay? But I really do love HBCUs in general, and I have friends that have attended a plethora of HBCUs across the country. So for our Today in Black History, we're going to actually highlight the chartering of one of the most, I'll say, prestigious amongst the HBCU gang, and that is Howard University. Now, typically, it's always going to be go Rattlers if we're going against the Bisons, okay? But in general, I have a lot of really good people in my life that I absolutely adore who are graduates of Howard University and are proud Howard University Bisons. So let's learn a little bit more about these Bisons, okay? Howard University was chartered during the period of Reconstruction, which we also talked about in a previous video, on March 2nd, 1867. It was chartered by the U.S. Congress, right? A lot of institutions are founded by individuals or groups, but Howard University was actually chartered by the Congress of the United States, making it one of the most historic and influential HBCUs in the United States. Located in Washington, D.C., Howard was founded during Reconstruction to provide higher education opportunities to newly freed African Americans. Over time, it has absolutely become a powerhouse for Black scholarship, leadership, and absolutely activism, producing some of the most influential Black professionals in law, medicine, politics, business, and the arts. We love that. Howard's motto is truth and service. It's in Latin. I don't want to say it wrong. I think it's veritas et utilitas, but it means truth and service, which I can stand on, right? So how and why was Howard founded? Before the Civil War, obviously, enslaved and free Black people were systematically denied access to education. But after the war, thousands of newly freed Black Americans wanted education. However, most universities refused to admit them. So the Freedmen's Bureau, which was a U.S. government agency created to helping newly freed people, wanted to create an institution where Black students could get professional training. And that's how we get Howard University. The university is named after General Oliver O. Howard, a Union Army general and the commissioner of the Freedmen's Bureau. Excuse me. He helped to personally secure funding and advocated for the creation of the university dedicated to educating Black Americans. March 2nd, 1867, Congress officially chartered Howard University. It was originally planned as a theological seminary, actually. However, quickly expanded into a full university with schools of law, medicine, education, and liberal arts. Howard's founding marked a turning point for Black higher education, ensuring that African Americans had access to top-tier training in professional fields. Shout out to you, Howard University. So Howard has produced some of our most prolific Black political leaders, including Thurgood Marshall, who was the first Black U.S. Supreme Court Justice. He graduated from Howard Law in 1933, and he was also obviously instrumental, if you don't know, he was instrumental in the Brown versus Board of Education decision that declared segregation in schools unlawful and started to provide for the integration of public schools in the United States. Kamala Harris is a proud graduate of Howard University. She was the first woman to ever serve as vice president in the United States. And she is a Black and Southeast Asian woman, and she was the first of both of those things. She had a lot of firsts on her belt. You had Edward Brooke, who was the first Black U.S. senator elected by popular vote. He graduated from Howard Law in 1948. And then you have Kasim Reed. I used to live in Atlanta, Georgia, and during the period of that time, Kasim Reed was one of the mayors that led the city while I lived there. And he graduated from Howard in 1991. So Howard produces some high-quality people who later go on into politics and law and do the dang thing, and we are quite proud of them. Howard Law School is considered the birthplace of civil rights. It was instrumental in training the legal minds who dismantled segregation in several forms. Again, you had Thurgood Marshall and his mentor, Charles Hamilton Houston, who developed the legal strategy that led to the Brown versus Board of Education decision in 1954 that ended school segregation. Howard continues to produce some of the most powerful Black lawyers and judges in America. A lot of the people who I know from Howard graduated from Howard Law. So I do think that's funny, and they are about their business. Do you hear me? Out here in the legal world doing the dang thing. And I'm quite proud of them and all of the work that they're doing across a variety of fields, from justice to corporate law, entertainment law. They are killing it. FAMU also has a powerful law school, but we're not talking about FAMU today, but I just want to put that out there because I'm a rattler and I'm going to do that. Okay, great. Thanks, bye. On that one, it was considered a medical training ground for Black doctors. Howard University College of Medicine, which was founded in 1868, was one of the first schools to train Black doctors. They trained more than 50% of Black physicians in the U.S. during the late 19th and early 20th century. And that helped to fight medical racism and increase healthcare access for Black communities. And the Howard University School of Medicine Hospital has served the Black community in D.C. for several years. Some of the most famous graduates of the Howard University School of Medicine are Dr. Charles Drew, who was also a Howard Medical School professional who revolutionized blood transfusions and blood banks. And we're actually going to learn more about him. He was one of my favorites growing up to learn about. He was very prolific. He died very tragically, but he definitely did a lot in his lifetime and gave back to the community in the short period of time we had him. You also had Dr. LaSalle de la Folle Jr., who was the first Black president of the American Cancer Society. Howard trained doctors have helped to break racial barriers in medicine and public health. So we love them for that. And Howard is absolutely a center for Black arts and culture. It has helped to shape Black music, literature, and entertainment, producing some of the most iconic figures in Black culture, to include the Nobel Prize-winning writer, Toni Morrison, our beloved Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, may he rest in peace, our wonderful Taraji P. Henson, the just most elegant Felicia Rashad, Roberta Flack, a Grammy Award-winning singer who recently transitioned to be an ancestor. And so we just thank her for all of the gifts that she shared with us during her lifetime. And Howard has been a hub of Black activism. Students and faculty have led movements for racial justice for over a century. In the 1960s, Howard students were active in the civil rights movement, organizing protests and sit-ins. And in the 2020s, Howard students are continuing to advocate for racial justice, voting rights, and police reform. It's not just a school, it is absolutely a training ground for future activists. It is also considered one of the top HBCUs in the country. They have some of the top undergraduate programs in business, engineering, and psychology, being ranked in the top 100 nationally. They're ranked number 12 for social mobility amongst national universities for their undergraduate teaching. And they're tied at 21 with Georgetown and Northwestern, recognizing the university's focus, good grief, on high quality education. It remains one of the most powerful institutions for Black education, culture, and leadership, and we absolutely celebrate that. So in summary, Howard University is absolutely more than just a school. It's a symbol of Black excellence, empowerment, and resilience. And we love them for that, right? We have a little friendly rivalry. But we do love them for the work that they do in the community. It was built during Reconstruction to educate newly freed Black Americans. It has trained some of the top legal minds in this country, including those that helped to dismantle segregation, in particular in schools. It has produced world-changing leaders, doctors, artists, and activists. And it continues to shape the future of Black leadership and culture. Howard is proof that Black institutions have mattered and will always matter. Do you hear me? There's no question about it. Black education absolutely matters, and Black history is still being made every day. Kamala Harris said, Howard taught me that I could be anything I wanted to be, and we thank them for that education. So I'm going to say it. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. Support HBCUs. Send your children to HBCUs. Send your dollars to HBCUs. Even if you did not attend an HBCU, there is nothing stopping you from donating to continuing the work and the legacy of HBCUs in American culture in general, but in Black culture specifically. We know that it is a place that is one of the top training grounds for some of the best best that we have to offer from the Black culture and the Black community in every area you can think of, from politics to business to science to the arts. HBCUs are doing the dang thing to prepare young Black people to be the professionals that we all need, to be the leaders that we desire to see, and to change the game in every arena. So, with that, remember, do what you need to do to be more than okay, because you deserve to be more than okay. And absolutely do what you need to do to live a life you love, because you deserve to live a life you love. I love you. Have an amazing week.